Hi, and welcome to the gEAR portal. In this video, I want to introduce some of the basic usage of the gEAR, sort of the things that will just get you started. Searching for genes, viewing expression, etc. Further videos in the documentation set go into the more advanced topics, but in this one, we're just going to cover the basics. To start with, gEAR can be used by anybody without creating an account. You don't need one to explore the basic features of the portal. But for some more advanced features, you will need to be logged in. That's because many of the tools within gEAR operate within the context of user preferences. As an example, if you perform a comparison between different conditions of a data sets, you can identify gene outliers. If you have an account, there'll be an option to save these outliers as a gene cart, and then you can reuse them in other areas of the site. Also, an account is required to upload your own data sets, to create and arrange your own profiles, which we'll talk about what those are, or to use the single cell workbench. So to start, creating a gEAR account, here I'm logged in to start, so let me sign out, so that's not true. When you start with the gEAR, you'll see that it looks somewhat like this. In the button on the right, there's a create account, and it's a simple form, first and last name, your institution, an email address, and a password. There's an option to get regular email updates. Honestly, we don't send these out very often, maybe once per year so far. So there certainly won't be a spam related thing. And the remember me will simply set a cookie so that you don't have to log in every time. And you create an account. It's that simple. At any point on the website, you can click, as you saw me just do, this gEAR icon in the upper left corner, and it will take you back to the home page. The panels on the home page allow you to go directly to some of the tools that we have on the websites, and each of these are covered in separate videos, so I won't talk about each of them here. But we're mostly concerned with this top panel. It allows you to search a gene and to choose a profile. To search for a gene of interest, you can add its name here and click search. You can also search, it does a partial match, so you can do a gene family. If I do RFX, for example, and hit search, I get all of the genes that have RFX1, RFX2, RFX3, etc. So it matches that name partially. If I only wanted one of them, if I wanted a very specific one, I could say RFX7, and then here where it says exact match, I could turn that on, and that would make sure I only get RFX7, not RFX7A, 7B, etc. So if I search that, now you see in the results I'm getting only RFX7. You can also do a space separated list of genes. So if I do POW for F3, SOX2, and GAD2, in this case, I probably want to have exact match on, so it'll only show me those list of 3. Search. And now the searches have updated, and I see just those 3 genes. Another section to notice is here where it says functional annotation. It gives me just the gene product name. If you click excuse me, anywhere in that banner, it expands out, and you get the gene product name, a symbol, ensemble ID. If there's aliases to this gene, they'll populate there, and then a list of Go terms. And these link out to the Go website. For any individual data set, also there's resource links that link out to external websites. We curate these for as many as we can find for each gene, but if you also have a website you'd like to link from the gEAR, and you have a systematic way of me linking to your website for a gene, then you can contact us with this button up here, and we can add those to the portal. This shows the annotation between different organisms, all the organisms that we currently store annotation for in the gEAR. If you're looking at these data sets and you're curious to find information about them deeper than what's already there, all of the data sets, each of these data sets in a box, has a context menu in the upper right. So if I click that, the one we want to look for here is info. If I click the info box, it'll open up a deeper description of how the data set usually was created, some author information, and often imagery to better illustrate where the graphics are coming from in this case. There's also, if there's a publication, you'll find a link out to PubMed here. And each of these other options are covered in further videos, but the displays allows you to curate different displays for this data set. View will cause it to zoom and fill the entire window. So if it's a smaller graphic, you can get it in better detail. You can shrink it back just with the small magnifying glass on the left. Other options, compare will take you to the comparison tool for that data set. Curate will let you add new curated displays. And analyze will take you to the single cell workbench. It should be noted that a lot of these graphics are interactive. So from the bar plots, you can both hover over them to get the actual values, but there's also controls on the right to download the plots, to zoom or pan within them. And the same is true for the SVGs. Many of them you can hover over. Let's see. Oh, I believe my screen recording software is preventing me from detecting the mouse hover. But if you hover over these normally, you can see the scores. Another option you can do here is if you have a data set and you like it or don't like it, or you just want to take notes on it for any reason, there's this pencil icon in the corner. By clicking that, it allows you to take notes for any data set. This one, of course, there aren't any, but you can add, give it a title, and type as long as you want, pretty much. And then you can choose to make that note either private to suit yourself, or you can make it a public note, sort of like a review or comments on a data set. And then others will also be able to see them if that's present. I want to talk about profiles. So when we were at our home page, we noticed that we could search by a gene symbol or by profile. Here. I'm going to enter a gene symbol, so just get, let's see, SOX2. But by default, the profile is hearing. A profile is nothing but a collection of data sets organized into that grid view that you were seeing. So I can choose others, such as a single cell data set, profile. This button toggles on exact match, or if you want to do partial or exact matches for this gene. And now notice I'm getting a very different array of results than I was on the home screen. So different data sets. These take a minute to load. We, as part of the gEAR portal, have created several different profiles of topical interest. So in this case, they're all from Kelly Labs, and they're all single-cell RNA data sets. But there's other profiles organized by theme. You can also select them here. So this is the same menu as you saw on the front page. If I select it, I can choose different profiles that are here. There's some profiles focused on the neuron, on regeneration in hair cells specifically, some based on the chick, some related to aging, etc. These are the ones that the gEAR team has curated. You can also create your own, and that's why you also see a longer list here that I have of my own personal ones. Look in the documentation and you'll find a creating and managing profiles section. But you can do that if you want to get started on your user menu, and the dataset manager is how you create your own profiles. It'll let you search for data sets and add them together and organize them. From here though, if you've already performed a search, here I've done it in this single cell profile, you can use the drop down to select a different one, and it will automatically change profiles and execute the search for you. Okay, and that's the basics of using this site. So, I mean, it's primarily, in this case, used as a viewer of other people's data sets. But notice we have talked about linking out to analysis tools, which are covered in a separate video under the documentation. To get to the documentation, you've probably found it already since you're listening to this, but the book icon on the top of any page gets you there. And here, this is the basic features that I'm covering now. We're adding this as we go. I've been fairly active this week in creating these, but the goal is to have both presentation slides, walkthrough videos, and text-based documentation for each section. But here's the main categories we're covering. If you'd like to send feedback, there's a form here to get feedback. It's just a simple form. You click it, and when you fill anything out or ask us a question, it creates a ticket within our ticketing system and is assigned to somebody. So you should get a response hopefully fairly quickly. We've revamped this system in the last month, so it's actually assigned to a specific person and bugs them an email to respond to users. So hopefully that will improve any problems with responsiveness. Thank you for using the gEAR.